Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. Although daylight is a little ways away, as we get closer to December, get darker and darker, and get daylight later and later. Okay, so here are two Speyside single malt Scotch whiskies, and it's not going to be a challenge. It'll be a challenge in name only. But it's going to be a blind taste test. So I have go this way. I have Glenlivet. No, I have the Benriach 10-year age, the Curiositas. Curiositas, no longer made. They reformatted their whole lineup about 4 years ago. But you can still find it in stores, as evidenced by the fact that I found it in a store this year. So it's around, probably not too commonly. This thing will focus. It's non-chill filtered, and there's natural color. Okay, so they don't add caramel coloring, and it's not chill filtered, so it could have sediment in it. Man, this thing won't focus. And this is a 2017 bottle. Because it says it on the back, 2017. Well, it's just being problematic right now. This camera is problematic. Okay. But I didn't spend a lot on this Logitech camera. I know a guy that spent over $100 on his, and it does the same thing. Won't focus. Now it decides to focus. The Glenlivet Founders Reserve, introduced in 2016. They use American oak. Price point for this is like about $45, $18.24 when they were founded, owned by Chivas Brothers today. Check Total Wine and More real quick. Okay, here we go. $53.99. Wow, it really went up in price. Extraordinary uptick in price, because I paid like 40. I paid like 40 for it. Well, they don't have Curiositas because it's gone. Thought they might have some lingering bottles, but they don't. Okay, but I've been checking prices around about $65, but I found my bottle for $9. True story, $9.99. Crazy, huh? So here's the website for the Glen. Got it posed on a little setting there. American first fill oak casks that are those never before been used to mature whiskey. Notice it didn't say wine or brandy. So yeah, you ever notice you got to be careful about how people write things, because it didn't say never before used for any product. There's a Scotch and soda highball, Scotch and rosemary highball, grain and cane. Time, if you might find that interesting. I have tags on the glasses, but I won't need them because I'll never confuse the two. But just to keep it consistent, both have foil cap covers and real cork. not neoprene. Now, some people say the neoprene does not hurt it. Some people claim it's better than cork. That's a plastic cover because they say it protects it better or seals it better or something like that. It doesn't breathe. Okay, another plastic cap cover. Real cork. See how we're looking here. Okay, even, more or less. So I've really been enjoying the Benriach. I don't think it's going to be a challenge now. I think Finlagen and Ardbeg 10 could challenge it because they're not Speyside whiskeys. They're from Islay, the island of Islay. And they have similar, but they do have similar aroma and flavor to this one, meaning smoky, smoky, smoky. And then there's like an iodine flavor and sea salt and saltwater taffy type of thing. Now, the Glenlivet Founders Reserve is a typical Speyside whiskey. Scotch whiskey is very bready. And that's really the focus there. Bread dough, white bread, of course. Some sweetness and no kind of peatiness or smokiness whatsoever, which some people like and other people don't. And vice versa on the other one. Glenlivet is very popular. I have the Founders Reserve, and then tomorrow I'll bring in the 12-year aged. Yeah, so this is obviously the Glenlivet because it's sweet bread. Daylight's finally arrived. And now over here, as soon as I smell it, I'm going to pick up that smoke. Maybe not so much on the aroma, but I will. Oh, yeah, it's there on the aroma. So that's the Benriach. All right, and then you can see how light it is. That's what whiskey like. Scotch whiskey looks like when it's the natural color without coloring added. It's going to be very light. Now, would they be allowed to use charred oak barrels to get it reddish? I've seen no regulation that would say you can't. Don't know if the Scotch people would like it, but I've never seen any. I read the Scotch regulations. They were pretty simple. Just that it had to be from whole grains. And in the case of single malt, malted barley. In the case of Scotch, blended Scotch, grain whiskey, any kind of grain, and malted barley, which is a grain, but it's malted. And it has to be aged for at least 3 years. That's it. And it also said may contain coloring. It didn't remark on flavoring. Okay, taste. Yeah, like I said, bready, mild, smooth. Any bite back, any heat or bite? Nah, at 40% alcohol, it's not going to have much heat. It's just smooth, easy going. Now, some people might say it's bland. It's bland. It's bland. It's dull. That's kind of like how the style is, and doesn't bother me. It's like people will say American lager beers are bland. But that's the style. That's what people want. The best solution to deal with that is to not drink it. Just don't drink. I drink Milwaukee's Best Light because I don't want to drink heavy beer all the time. I don't want all that alcohol and calories. And secondly, it's very inexpensive. Oh, and thirdly, it's probably one of the best tasting American light beers. But they're all going to be bland and they're all going to be watery because that's what they are, watered down beer. And that's how these are going to be because that's the style. Now, you rate things within the style, not your personal preference. Is that my personal preference? No. But within the style, it's very good and it'd be in the A range. Maybe an A, just an A93, but certainly in the A range. Now, the Benriach, I find, is very good, but it's not within the style, the typical style, because Speyside whiskeys typically are not smoky, so it's an abnormal. That's why they call it Curiositas, like curious, strange, abnormal, abnormal. But once again, that's a style convention or tradition. It's not a law. There's no law in Scotland that says, well, this region has to taste like this and that other region has to be like that. No, sorry, there's no law. There's no law in the US like that. The only regulation is that it has to have the aroma and flavor generally associated with whiskey. And I don't really know how you would substantiate that, but that's what they say. That's what the law said. The regulation in pursuant of the law, that's what it says. So all the things I described, the saltwater taffy, the sea salt, the iodine, the smoke, it's there. I love it. That's my personal preference. So I would score this a 95 out of 100. Could argue it up to 96, I do believe. All right, so another taste challenge done, if one should call it a challenge. And then I'll plan to come back tomorrow with the Glenlivet 12, a little higher grade product, but it won't be any different of a challenge. It'll be the same thing. If you skip it, I won't take it personal. All right, bye-bye. Personally.